This is a little chunk from the novel called Joan Darcy Fucks Up. The skinny girl behind the counter had skunk-striped hair, ear cuffs, and a velvet ribbon around her wrist-thin neck. Joan knew she could snap it in an instant. She didn't understand why the girl was not more frightened going around with a neck like that. "Listen," she said, trying to get the girl to look her in the eye, or at least at the coffee maker she was holding up in front of her. The coffee maker that was supposed to make coffee practically by itself. The coffee maker that was going to help her get back on track, help her make over her life, get her up early from now on, motivate her with the delicious aroma of fresh brewed coffee, like it said right there on the box. She'd gotten the expensive beans for it, ground them herself, and everything. "I bought this yesterday at 2. It fell apart yesterday at 3:25. It is garbage. Garbage should not be sold. Garbage should be taken away in a big yellow truck. If you're not going to give me my money back, call the manager." "Like, I'm the manager," the girl said. "Then give me my money back." The girl blew a grayish bubble from the wad of gum she was chewing. "Store credit only," she said. "Policy." "I don't want store credit. I want my $53.95. Joan pushed the coffee maker across the counter. "No backs, no gives. Open the register." "Are you threatening me?" the girl said. "Because if you're threatening me, I'm supposed to call someone." Policy. Yes, I am," Joan said. "I'm calling security," the girl said. She blew more bubbles while she waited for mall security to answer the phone. After a while, she gave up and put the receiver down. "How about store credit and a 10% off coupon?" she said. "How about $53.95, Joan said. "Look, I'm tired of this place. I'm tired of you, and I know you're tired of me. You give me $53.95, I give you this stupid wad of plastic, and you never see me again. Trust me, it's a bargain." "I'll get written up." "Still," Joan said, "a bargain. Here's the thing. You don't give me my money back right now, I come here every single day until you do. You won't like that." "You're mean," the girl said. "I'm awful. And I'm persistent. It's a miserable combination. Give me my money, and you'll never see me again." The girl pinged open the register and counted the money into Joan's hand. "I hope you're happy." "Ecstatic," Joan said. "You can't imagine." Baby Jesus in a chicken basket, she needed a drink. Just one. Joan woke up, head pounding, and her mouth tasting of smoke and vinegar. She lay staring at the ceiling. It was a perfectly fine ceiling, nice and high, with very few cracks, and a really nice Beaux Arts light fixture in the middle. Definitely not her ceiling. She rolled over and inspected the other side of the bed. It was empty, but from the appearance of the pillow wadded up against the headboard, someone had recently occupied the space. Joan wondered who it could have been. She pulled herself up onto her elbows. She noticed she did not seem to be wearing a top. She lifted the covers and looked underneath. "Well, that's interesting," she said. On the floor next to the bed, she found a navy blue t-shirt, Hanes, size XL. She put the t-shirt on and sat on the bed, bare-assed, and looked at the door that led to the rest of the house, or apartment. She noticed a window, tall, double hung. She walked over and looked out. apartment. She crossed the room to the bedroom door and put her ear to it. The dull sound of a television or a radio, but no human noise. She opened the door and stepped out, tugging the t-shirt down as far as she could. From the hall, she could see a slice of the living room, a television set glowing dimly in one corner, a coffee table littered with a pizza box, empty except for a few olives, numerous beer bottles, 3 wine bottles, and 1 bottle of Cuervo lying empty on its side. The floor around the coffee table was scattered with lines, 2 pieces of pizza, and her underwear. Joan slowly stepped down the hall toward the living room and peeked around the corner. As she approached, the visible slice of the room grew larger, revealing more booze bottles, ashtrays mounded with cigarette butts, a mirror on which rested a tightly rolled dollar bill, and 5 naked young men, sleeping peacefully in random positions on the couch, in the recliner, and on the floor. One was using a second pizza box as a pillow. Bits of sausage and mushrooms clung to his hair. It was not the first time she'd awakened in a strange place, fuzzy and confused about the events that got her there, and it was not the first time she'd had to look at the mail piled on a hall table to figure out the name of her host and the address for the cab driver. It was, however, the first time she'd had to scan a room full of bare bodies and try to figure out which one was Jeffrey L. Rochot of 1516 25th Avenue. French name. She tried to remember if there'd been an accent last night, but no luck. The last clear memory she had was of going into the bathroom at the Dartmouth Bar and Grill to remove her nylons because she had torn a giant hole in them trying to prove to everyone that she could do the splits. She couldn't. She tiptoed around until she located more of her belongings, and shoes in hand, still wearing Jeffrey L. Rochot's t-shirt because she couldn't find the zebra print blouse she was pretty sure she'd been wearing last night, she crept out of the apartment building. She spotted a coffee shop across the street and wobbled toward it, head pounding. As she entered the shop, she threw a glance over her shoulder back toward Jeffrey L. Rochot's building and solved the mystery of the missing blouse. It was hanging from the fire escape. Joan sat hunched over her mocha, shivering, even though it was warm for the Richmond district. She made a list of the facts as she knew them. 1, she'd gotten very, very drunk. Again. 2, she'd possibly, or let's face it, probably, done a bunch of blow. 3, she'd slept with between 1 and 5 strangers, none of whom she could pick out of a lineup. 4, her brand new blouse, on which she'd spent far more than she should, was now hanging from the fire escape, beyond her reach. Sure, she could go back into Jeffrey L. Rochot's apartment, knock on the door, and ask for it back, but the cost of doing that seemed far higher than the $84 she'd spent on the blouse. She was happy to have escaped with her pants and her purse. The fact that she'd located her underwear and shoes was a huge bonus. And 5, and this was the big one, she realized, as she read the front page of the newspaper another patron had left behind. Today was Monday, sometime well after noon, which meant she'd spent 2 nights instead of 1 doing whatever she'd been doing. And more importantly, it meant she should have been at work hours ago. It meant she was fired for sure this time. Briefly, she wished she'd been a tiny bit nicer to the skunk-haired manager girl at the mall. Maybe she was hiring. Thank you.